Hello, all, and good evening. My name is Erica Star Hunter, and what I'd like to do this evening is present my final project, and I'm titling it New Perspectives in Urban Education. And this is essentially a presentation on my revised research interests and the direction I would like to go. And through this presentation, I've narrowed down my topic to something that I'm very passionate about and also believe could help to move research done in urban education into a different direction, hopefully. So I'd like to discuss first off some of the changes I've made during the first course, 7120. I really focused on, I decided that I wanted to focus on urban education and the fact that most of the research done on urban education has a real deficit perspective. Essentially, like what is lacking, what is wrong with it, the pitfalls, the trouble with, and I just don't want to seem naive because I'm definitely not naive. I've been working in urban education for over 18 years. In my final written project, I give my kind of a brief um, summary of my time in SLPS and St. Louis Public Schools. So you know, essentially, I started off doing an internship at Central Visual Performing Arts High School back when it was down on Natural Bridge. And my classroom was interesting. First thing, I noticed is it had some gunshots, bullet holes in the windows. And this was different for a girl who grew up. I grew up in Webster Groves, which is where our university is. So I'm hoping that you're all pretty familiar with that community. But if you're not, it's pretty typical county. It's a beautiful community. It's very lots of trees. I think Webster likes to think of itself as very progressive and liberal. However, as far as culturally, racially, ethnically, Webster Groves is not diverse at all. And to say contrary would be a lie to yourself. It is not a diverse community. Um, there are pockets in Webster Groves, but in general, those pockets do not um, come together very often, and it's unfortunate. So, anyway, from that upbringing to coming to St. Louis Public Schools, I was able to really see a big drastic difference, and it definitely took me a while to understand and have my eyes open to the not only like to recognize the differences, but to fully embrace those differences and to in some ways kind of make them my own. um, and just kind of like as a person become a combination of a lot of different groups. So, but I think I am a better person for it. And for my child, I have a son. I want him to not have to deal with those same types of struggles that I had to go through, um, trying to really grapple with and deal with a lot of the biases that I grew up with. And I grew up with really supportive, open minded parents um, who definitely taught me to be respectful of all people. And it doesn't even matter though, because society in general teaches us to be afraid of difference and to really retreat within our own ethnic groups, racial groups. And so, that being said, it definitely took me a while to just constantly reflect on my biases. And I apologize, I'm really grappling with a cold right now. So, what I want urban education research to be is something that focuses on the benefits that can be gained from a diverse, inclusive education system that provides a type of education that in this 21st century, maybe the 22nd century, looking like really to the future, is where we really need to focus our efforts as educators. That being that we need to create in children a love and appreciation of difference and understanding, not just tolerance, but full on acceptance of each other's uniqueness. And I'm not talking about us becoming one big, like, melting pot. I'm talking about us each being our own unique, authentic selves, appreciating that, respecting that, and celebrating that in each other. And that truly is an education for children that will prepare them for that 21st century global community that we want to prepare all of our students for. So my guiding question now is, does having exposure to a diverse and inclusive student population impact student perception of those different from themselves and ultimately impact their overall educational experience? So this is not something that can be, we can't get this from standardized tests. It would have to be through surveys and discussion and interviews to see how kids see each other and how that perception of each other, how does that impact them later in life and how they interact with people around them. So for my social media and website, ResearchGate has become one of my fun hobbies. I enjoy going there at least once a week. And you know, ResearchGate provides me with a list of researchers that possibly could match my research interests. And so I go and take a look at who they suggest and kind of look at what they're doing. And then I request some of their research if I'm interested in. I've gotten lots of great things. People are very forthcoming, and it's really nice. It's really, really nice. One person that I'm really interested in is Alicia Butler. She is basically focused on the same kind of thing that I am interested in studying. So looking at the impact of community schools on the community and how the school can strengthen the community. And so I'm very interested in her work and then her colleagues, what they are doing as well. And then I have 4 followers. 3 are from Webster University and 1 is from Wilfrid Laumeier University. I'm guessing that probably as I start putting out my own research, and I've thought about that for this summer, putting out some of my own research as part of my summer projects. I think that would be interesting and just see how people react to it. That's something I would like to do. My professional site now officially has analytics. I was scared to add it at first because for Google, it's all about business. And I felt like I was just really kind of signing my life away. I am still of that generation that has a lot of distrust for technology, I think, and I'm slow to adopt it. I'm 44, and so I think that's just natural and normal for my generation to have a little bit of fear and loathing for technology. I I do love technology though. Please, I do. I absolutely love it. I love that I'm recording my presentation right now, and right next to me is a transcript of everything I'm saying. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Um, but there are definitely aspects to it that that make me cautious. But it is set up, so I should start getting back some information on how many people have visited my site. Um, I also want to use my site as a portfolio where I can start just putting in all the different projects that I've done, especially ones I'm proud of, as a um, representation of me as a researcher and kind of where I'm going in my journey. Okay. So, next steps in urban education research, 10 possible contributions. And this is very similar to what I did. This is actually exactly what I did in my first presentation. And I looked through it, and I feel like a lot of, why isn't it coming through? Huh. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Technology, yay! This is my first time using Teams to present. I usually use Zoom, but I'm having some trouble with Google, so I'm trying out something new. So my 10 points. How has urban education been impacted by definitions and discussions? So I think that what I want to bring is a more positive perspective and perception of urban education, because I think what urban education has is something that no other system could possibly provide, which is that diversity and inclusion, which is the only way to have a fully well-rounded education. And you can't get that anywhere else. Um, I think if you go to school in the county, you should want to go to school in an urban school. You should want to move out of the county and move into the city so that you can get that diversity, you can get that inclusion that you can't get in the county. Why don't people feel that way? It's because of racism, discrimination, xenophobia, just all those things that are ugly that hold back our society. So by changing those perceptions and perspectives, hopefully we can help to change the society. Why hasn't any of the previous research made a significant impact on the urban education system? I think a lot of this has to do with people have been targeting it from a reactionary standpoint, like reacting to what is already out in society. So racism already exists in our society. And it is so pervasive. And so the research done has been a response to that. I want to step outside of that response kind of framework and say, this is what we have that you don't have. This is what we can offer. As an urban education platform, this is what we can offer. that cannot be offered in any other environment, in any other kind of educational setting. And I'm sorry, I'm coughing so much. But so, and even within our system, there's so much discrimination and racism that um, I know teachers that feel that way, administrators that feel that way, leaders of the urban, like charter schools that have this biased mindset, that ultimately, when they're children, they don't see them as authentic people. They see something that they need to change. I want to get rid of all that and change the way uh, people just view urban education in itself as a whole. Okay, so why do we? So this gets to my point. Why do we continue to discuss how urban education is failing when it is clear that urban education has not been seen as a system that should succeed? So I think that urban education has been treated as like I think it's been modeled a lot after like the prison system, unfortunately. And it's so sad they talk about the pipeline, and it's because we built that pipeline. We have cultivated that pipeline. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. We need to change it. We need to discuss how our children, our urban children, are deserving of respect and deserving of um, all the advantages that exist in this beautiful world. And we have to stop seeing them as problems. We have to stop seeing them as things that need to be changed. We need to see our kiddos of these different marginalized groups as children. They're children who are innocent and deserve our best. And that's the point of view we need to have. So I just love this picture. I didn't take it. I stole it from somebody in the Bevo community group. But it's the sun rising over the old Cleveland High School, and it's on my professional website. And like it's an old building. So it's kind of like the sun rising on an old building, or like the sun rising on like an old system. And not that we need to tear down what already exists. We definitely don't. Like what we have can be made new again and can be made great. Um, and we just have to change the mindsets of the people and how they view it. Okay, so now I'd like to discuss some of the transformative aspects. And so, current research. So before I started teaching, I had no preconceived ideas. I mentioned in my paper that I went in not really knowing much at all. And then after 18 years of seeing the system, I have a really great idea of what urban education is and how it works. Um, I have stayed in one spot. I haven't gone to all the other schools. So I don't have experience in a charter school or in a magnet school, but I have lots of experience with the children of St. Louis Public Schools. And so, and I've talked to lots of colleagues. I have a pretty good understanding of how things work in the different buildings. So I say all that to say that if you just look at it from my perspective of, I see all these different things come and go, come and go, come and go. New programs, new schools, new administrators, new children, new groups of children from all over, different, areas of the city, different areas of the country, different areas of the world. But children are still children. They really are. Children are children. A lot of the same exact things they did in 2005 when I started teaching are the same as they do today in 2023. So the mindset on our children has been that they are a problem, there are gaps, there are problems, gaps, problems, and gaps. And, but I really think that that mindset needs to change. Um, I don't know. I guess I was born with more of a growth mindset of just that, you know, things can be good and things can get better. And if you don't like the way things are, you can change them and think on things positively. And maybe that's why I've been successful as an urban educator. But I think that we all need to have that growth mindset when it comes to working with our children because they deserve that from us. The transformative aspect of my research is that I think that if I'm successful in my research and show that there is a correlation between um, perceptions of difference and urban education and being in a diverse and inclusive student population, that ultimately changes your perception of others, and how that impacts your ability to interact with other people in the world. I think that could have a really huge impact on society. To say that to be successful in this world, you have to be able to work with people different than yourself. To be really successful in this world, you have to be able to work with people who are unlike yourself. And the only way to get that is to work with people unlike yourself. And where can you get that experience? You get that experience by working in an urban education system, by going to school in an urban education system. Because in the urban education system is where you find all the diversity. That's where you find all the different marginalized groups. It is a ever-changing group of students and staff. And it makes you into a person, it makes you appreciate all the all the uniqueness and difference in the world. And you can't get that anywhere else. All right. Thank you. Okay, now I gotta try to figure out how to end this. Stop recording. Okay.